Landslord Nigeria and Global are wonderful publications of Haven's Royal Highness, indeed their marker original power. The author Jenner and President of Eden Special Publications, one of the Eden Special Group of companies. The publications effectively elucidate important guidelines essential to human residentialisms, particularly the restrictive as well as permissive ground rules and regulations about residencies, tenancies and livings at countries. The publications aim at the preventions of societal malaises and wars that adversely affect humanities, areas, landings, personal grounds, properties and other valuable resources within countries. By expositing the historically fundamental and important lessons, the rulings and the regulations or guidelines that would educate as well as inform otherwise, the ignorant, confused, conflictual and prejudiced populations against all aggravations of unrest. The publications are not to be used to provoke or incite wars and battles between or against persons and groups. Page after page of the publications tell about 1. The lessons of war. Prohibitions to all interests in territorial secession and destruction. 2. The supply restrictions and limitations of the manufacturers' world, including the advice of the governmental and industries authority onto all the nation's populations against scarcities, as well as against financial difficulties. 3. The landlords' quits notices issued onto all migrants and all illegal occupants of the country's areas at all categories of housing, including the landlords' non-renewable terminations to leaseholds within the areas. 4. The living regulations, the authoritative notice onto all populations about the arrival of Earth's new era, the Favors Grand Days Centenary. 5. The living regulations, authoritative guidelines for qualitative beneficial uses of manufactured goods or products, professions and properties. 6. The living regulations, authoritative directives about the resolve of personal health requirements, regulations for expected societal etiquettes, regulations governing the demand for housings, the practice of religion, the practice of nuptials or wedlocks, the practice of births and care of children. 7. The company's authoritative dismissals of employees for non-employabilities, particularly for non-compatibilities into the Nigerian country and its community areas, for non-contributions to the employment's worths as well as to the area's requirements. 8. The recommendations for standard renovations of areas, religion centers, community housings and environments. 9. The guidelines for acceptable employeeships, a sample of the valid and viable personal curriculars vital CV. 10. The guidelines for the successful departures of all migrants and non-nationals away from the country.